It's time for the heart to heart that you don't want to hear, but that you need to hear. Now, 2024 has been a roller coaster ride thus far, and we are nearing the end of it. Ultimately, we've set all of these goals for ourselves, and we've told ourselves that we're going to make this amount of money, we're going to pursue this career path, and we are going to lose this amount of weight in 2024. Well, sorry to disappoint you, but it didn't happen. The goals that you wrote down in the beginning of the year and the images that you had in your head of you achieving those goals no longer exist, and you find yourself wondering, well, what went wrong in 2024 and how can I prevent the same thing from happening in 2025? Now, let's rewind. Alright, so it's the beginning of 2024. You're sitting down and you're writing down all of your goals, right? We all know about New Year's resolutions, and some of it is honestly just cringe because people always make these promises to themselves and tell themselves that they're going to change this amount of their lives and they're going to do this and they're going to do that, but end up not following through on their promises. In the first few months, you stay motivated, you've been working around the clock, you've been getting some decent results, and as the months have dragged on, you started to lose motivation. You started to forget your why. And that's the most important reason, one of the most important reasons that you failed in 2024. You forgot your why. Why did you start? Why do you want to achieve this specific thing? Why are you doing this particular thing right now? And many people have lost sight of their why. They know their end destination, but they don't have a route to get to that end destination. So let's break down the disappointments you may have experienced in 2024. Now, it's time for a bit of honesty and self-reflection. Did you really expect everything to be handed to you? And did you really think it was going to be that easy? Did you think in the beginning of 2024 that I'm going to just write down this list of goals and I'm going to smash them? Unfortunately, life is filled with twists and turns, and throughout those twists and turns, you get lost along the way. But it is how good you regroup and find your path back. Unfortunately, in 2024, you didn't quite do that. But there is hope. You need to do a self-reflection on all of these goals that you set for yourself and ask yourself the simple question: were these goals even realistic to begin with? I mean, setting a goal like making $1 million in 2024 was a bit over hasty. Rather, break your goals down into smaller, more achievable goals as we move into the new year 2025. It's very important for you to realize that yes, you should set ambitious goals, but you shouldn't set unrealistic goals. And this is the biggest mistake that you've made in 2024. You were full of enthusiasm in the beginning of the year and you just have that new year vibe to you. But remember that it fades, and as the year dragged on, you began to lose focus and you began to lose sight of why you're doing this particular thing. So it's very important for you to break down why things didn't go as planned in 2024. Find the core reasons. Were you just being lazy, or was it external circumstances outside of your control that had an influence on your goals? And once you identify either of these perspectives, we can move forward. Learn from the mistakes you've made in this year. You might have not stayed disciplined enough. You might have not stayed consistent enough. You might have slept too late most of the days. You might have not eaten enough. You might have not planned adequately. All of these mistakes, you need to learn from them. And each mistake needs to identify a weak point that you had in your plan for 2024. And going forward, you need to address these weak points. For example, if you struggled with consistently going to the gymnasium in 2024, you need to ask yourself this one question: why? You wanted to lose weight, you wanted to build muscle, so why didn't you stay consistent? Were you simply just being lazy? Were you simply busy? Was it because of external circumstances? And we need to break this down and identify the root cause. Now, obviously, at some stage, you try to force yourself and you try to tell yourself that irrespective of how I feel, I'm going to go do this today. Unfortunately, that is where most people fail, because most people simply do not have the willpower to push through that pain. Once they experience one setback or one failure, they simply just throw in the towel and call it a day. And that was your exact problem in 2024. Yeah, you identified your problems. Yeah, you did some self-reflection, but why didn't you rectify them? Why didn't you tell yourself that I still need to get things done? I still need to work on this particular goal and that particular goal. So why didn't I do that? And the simple answer is this: you didn't want it bad enough. And in 2025, you need to make a mindset shift. Now, looking at all of the mistakes that we made in 2024 and looking at the self-inspection and the reflection that we've done, we've identified a few root causes of our issues. Now, how are you going to use these lessons going into 2025? It's very simple. Each of the failures that you've experienced in 2024 would have taught you something. You failed to lose this amount of weight. What did it teach you? You didn't stay consistent with the gym. You failed to improve your financial situation. What did it teach you? That in order to improve your financial situation, you need to be willing to study harder, work harder, and manage your time better. And these are all things that you can do going into the new year. Now, it's very important that you realize that you need to start planning right now. You need to start journaling and self-reflecting right now. You need to be drawing up a blueprint for 2025 right now. And remember what I said, keep everything in that blueprint as realistic and attainable as possible. Otherwise, you're going to keep experiencing failure year after year. And every year is going to be the same old BS. So yes, self-reflection and planning is very, very important, and you don't want to make the same mistakes as you made this year in the following year. 2025 needs to be a new, fresh start for you. And going forward, there are many doors that's going to be open. There are many doors that can be open, but it's only by you. If you do not realize and correct the mistakes that you've made this year, 2025 is going to be the exact same, a huge disappointment. So, what are 5 things that we can do to ensure that 2025 is our year? Firstly, set realistic and attainable goals. Break them down into smaller, more attainable daily, weekly, and monthly goals. Number 3, surround yourself with people who are like-minded in their ambitions and who have the same drive towards success as you do. Number 4, look at all of the bad habits that you practiced in 2024 and correct them in 2025. And yeah, it's not going to be that easy. It's not going to be an overnight thing, but that's why you need to start replacing those bad habits with good habits and productive habits starting today. And lastly, the 5th and final thing that we can do to improve our 2025 is make sure that irrespective of how we feel on the day, irrespective of our emotional state, we need to be working towards something bigger. And I do hope that 2024 has taught you many lessons as it has taught me. And I do hope that going into the new year, you will be a stronger, better version of yourself. I'll see you next time.